The lonesome wail of a train whistle is one of those nostalgic sounds that even years later can draw strong images to the mind of those that have heard it. The geography of Southeast hasn't allowed many trains or their whistles in this area, but another evocative sound has been reintroduced to Juneau ears. Through a community effort, Westminster chimes strike once each hour and Carillon bells play twice each day.
In 1962, the National Bank of Alaska donated Schulmerich chimes to Juneau, Ketchikan, and Fairbanks. They played for many years, then faded into the bustle of a growing capital city. Until recently, the bells were in a state of disrepair when a few local residents started a community effort to revive the cheerful sound. The cost to rebuild the Carillon was estimated at $22,500, less than half the price of a new one. City officials authorized a $14,000 grant. Merchants, service clubs, and the local media helped raise the remaining amount.
Yeah.
The bells are now installed in the Sea Alaska building.
The community support was just unbelievable. So something that for the next 20 to 30 years we're going to be enjoying in Juneau on a daily basis, and I hope everybody likes it.
Made in Sellersville, Pennsylvania, Schulmerich Carillons are considered the Cadillac of electromechanical bells, designed to give the listener the sound of cast tower bells without the expense. Arthur Collins travels all over the world installing both kinds. He spent 4 days working on Juneau's rebuilt system. Collins says listeners will notice little difference between these bells and the real thing.
They won't. They'll think it's Big Ben.
Small Flemish bells are the major instrument. This is the lower of 2 octaves.
These rods are collared and notched to give the same overtones as an actual cast Flemish bell. And these little copper whiskers here are dampers so that the sound won't reverberate longer than it should. The hammer strikes both rods at once, and the sound is picked up here, and it's sent to the amplifier for broadcast outside.
The main melody comes from the bell. The harp and celesta are the accompaniment.
The celesta has a little harsher sound than the harp. The harp is a very mellow sound. And they're both in the same rod. It's where they're struck that makes the difference. One is struck near the end, one is struck right in the center. And that makes the difference in the music. These again are cut, collared, and notched to give the overtones that we want. There is no actual, we're not copying anything here. These are original. This is copying a bell. These are original tone sources.
The Westminster chimes and music are programmed and controlled by this digital clock, but a musician can also sit down at the console and play for the public or just for practice by turning off the outside speakers.
We have a recorder at the console. That sends a pulse up here, tells this thing which key he pushed, and of course there's timing marks on the tape. And when it plays back, when it sees that pulse, it knows which key to play. In your tape music, you lose something. This way, you're getting the actual strike of the bell instead of a tape recording of it.
The speakers are weighted down with 10 cement blocks, and that, according to Collins, will help them withstand even the strongest Haku wind. As for the sound, well, on a clear day like today, we should be able to hear the bells way across town, at least 2.5 miles away from here. Davis has played the Alaska flag song too many times to count, but in all her years as Juneau's First Lady of Theater Organ and as teacher of many local musicians, she's never played a carillon. This was her debut.
Oh, I just love doing it. I would love to just spend hours fooling around on it. I just love the bells anyway. And the town, when I first came here, was so full of bells. Then, for some reason, the churches didn't seem to have any anymore. Nobody seemed to have it anymore. And so I was certainly thrilled when they decided to put these back up again.
J. Allen McKinnon was one of Davis' students. He has played this carillon before and believes it's as good a substitute for real bells as one could find.
On this particular instrument, you have the limitation of 75 bells. It's 3 two-octave keyboards, and so you have some flexibility in the sound because you have the large Flemish bells, the harp bells, and the celeste or celesta bells, and so it gives you a variety of sound, but you don't have a lot of options, and so you have to arrange or transpose or adjust music that is in existence to make it work on the bells. And so the easiest way to play it is to put the pre-recorded digital tapes on. In the old days, when this equipment was installed, the bells were installed at the National Bank of Alaska some 20 years ago. The method of playing them mechanically was literally by piano roll. This new state-of-the-art, we can sit here and play any arrangement we would like, recorded on what looks like an audio cassette. It's a digital cassette. Put it in the player, and that arrangement will play 10 times a day or as often as one would like.
Juneau's old bells are now new, and we will hear them for many years to come.